Good afternoon and welcome to the Saturday showcase of the Simulation Football League, our 20th anniversary season presented by APM Music. Today, the Minnesota Legend travel to the eye of the storm in Fort Lauderdale to take on the Florida Storm in the first matchup between these two franchises. Let's begin with the legendary roster of Florida, sporting Ron Cochran, third all-time with over 45,000 passing yards. Optimus Klein, fifth all-time with over 12,000 receiving yards. Alex Dominguez, 216.5 career sacks, most in SFL history by a mile. And two cornerbacks unlike any other, Evan Carroll and Ryan Davidson, who both have 8 defensive touchdowns all-time, the most all-time. That's all to say that Florida is 1-4 now, with the fourth worst offensive production through 6 weeks. The Storm have been gashed by running games, giving up the second most rush yards. The -6 turnover differential is the worst for the franchise since season 11. The silver lining? The Storm somehow won the championship that season. But will Minnesota take advantage of the Storm's ineptitude against the run? Colin Hart is 4th in the SFL with 6.3 yards per carry, but is 27th in rush attempts. That's in part due to the balanced backfield that includes fullback Chris Komisak, but Hart getting the ball seemingly wouldn't be such a bold strategy today. Johnny Reno's not a bad bet either. Just 3 interceptions this season, fewest in the SFL. Minnesota is 4-1 for a reason, and a new band of legend is rising by the day. Will Florida halt the new kids' momentum, or does Max Paul and his Storm group have one last charge in them in the final chapter of this SFL era? Mike Daggs and Gerald Smith have your call from the eye coming up next.
Well, Week 7 of SFL action continues this evening from the Eye in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, as the Florida Storm host the Minnesota Legend. Good evening, everybody. I am Mike Daggs. Joining me in the booth is the incomparable Gerald Smith, whatever that means. As you're with us on stats, Ron Haynes and Aaron Gooden. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. Gerald, how you doing tonight?
Doing good. Left the snowy environment of New York down to warm Florida.
Yeah, much better weather down here. So the regular playoff contender Florida Storm face off against the red-hot, relatively new kids on the block Minnesota Legend to decide where each team's going to stand at the halfway point of the season for each of them. Florida got off to their worst start in franchise history at 0-4 before finally getting things figured out last week. Their play has been somewhat sloppy. Veteran Ron Cochran has half the touchdowns as he has picks and is nearly last in QBR. But last week he had a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio and looked more like what we'd expect from the Storm. Minnesota on the flip side, they've done just about everything right. They average 31 points a game on offense, hold the other team to less than 25. They're 4-1 at the top of the Central Division. Florida's 1-4 at the bottom of the East. 6 games about to kick off. What are the keys to victory for each team?
It'll come down to quarterback play for both teams. Minnesota quarterback Johnny Reno comes into Week 7 top 2 in QBR completion percentage, along with throwing the least amount of interceptions in the league thus far, and has his team 4-1 and leading the Central Division. Florida quarterback Hall of Famer Ron Cochran hasn't been as polished and sits near the bottom in QBR, completion percentage, and interceptions coming into Week 7, but he was able to put together arguably his best outing of the season to get his team its first win of the season in Week 5 before their bye week to try and get them back on track. Whichever team's defense can put pressure on the opposing QB and slow down their effectiveness stands the best chance of coming away with the victory.
Minnesota in all white, Florida in mostly all red. Florida will get the ball first to get things started. And they have the ball up at the 22-yard line. That is where quarterback Ron Cochran will come out onto the field, get things started for his team. Last week, Cochran did pretty good. He was 24-31, 250 yards. Not huge passing numbers, but 2 touchdowns, only 1 pick. And that efficiency helped them get that win. And they'll start off from their own 24. Cochran to throw on the first play of the game. Gets it out to the left. And that one's complete for no gain. Got it to Charlie Beletsky. Beletsky having himself a decent season. He's got 339 yards so far on the ground. Not top-end numbers, but he's helping the team get it done. 4 touchdowns for him.
Yeah, not quite, the start like he had in his MVP season from a couple seasons ago, but definitely serviceable, and they're looking to get him more involved.
Cochran to throw again on second down. This time they gained some yardage, getting it up to the 31-yard line. Nice gain of 7. Run through the starting offense for the Florida Storm. Quarterback Ron Cochran, halfback Charlie Beletsky. The wide receivers are Stephen Bush, Art Vandelay, E.J. Minson, and Optimus Klein. 2 tight ends, Verdon Zarkov and Ron Haynes. At guard, Finley James and Leroy James, left and right guard respectively. Third down, first handoff to Beletsky, and he's got all kinds of room to run. Makes 2 people miss before finally being brought down by Daniel Wright, but well into Minnesota territory after that huge gain.
Yeah, and that's what they need from Bullet Beletsky. And he actually had a really good game before the bye week as well, running for nearly 150 yards in the win in Week 5. So runs like that is what got him the MVP from a couple seasons ago. And I mean, if they can kind of capitalize on that and kind of and ride that type of momentum, especially in the run game, especially the way Ron Cochran has kind of struggled so far through the season, I think getting Beletsky more involved is can only do good stuff for them.
Beletsky will gain 6 yards on this carry up the middle. Yeah, he really had a slow start to the season. I think the whole team did. I mean, through the first 4 games that they played, he only had doing some quick math, 200 yards through 4 games. And then last week against someone's Louisiana Revolution.
It wasn't last week. It was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Well, their last game. Finally got something going. This time tackled for a loss on the play. Brought down in the backfield by Juan, Mississippi. But 28 carries, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns for Beletsky against the Revs. Finally got things going, averaged 4.9 yards per carry. Another third down coming up for the Storm on their opening possession.
Yeah, this is a 3rd and medium right here.
3 receivers down to the bottom, 1 to the top. Cochran to throw, throws it down to the bottom and gets the first down, connecting with Art Vandelay on the play. Moves the chains just outside the red zone. The starting defense for the Minnesota Legend. Defensive line, Angela Meerkat, Mark Mello, Buster Johnson, and Max Knight. The linebackers are B.J. Lovelace, Axel Raven, Juan, Mississippi. The secondary is Cody Griffin, Johnny Bravo, Rick Evans, Daniel Wright, Tigga Clay, and Derek Meerkat. Cochran throws on the run, and that one is incomplete. Bounced off the hands of Stephen Bush.
Yeah, it looks like Stephen Bush was more concerned with getting his feet in bounds and actually securing the catch right there. So
I agree.
I gotta, especially in this situation right here. I mean, you're right outside the red zone. You wanna, especially the start they have. 1-4 here. I mean, those are the catches you gotta bring in.
Second down and 10 now, offset eye in the backfield. Bolesky takes the handoff and the block missed. Leroy James trying to pop out to the left and throw the block, but Mark Mello got there first, running right by James. Gets Bolesky in the backfield, tackle for a loss.
Yeah, nobody had responsibility of him right there, and the guard didn't get, around fast enough to be able to pick him up, and he just stayed in his zone and contained the running back right there and tackled him for a loss. Here's another 3rd and long.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say another 3rd down. 2 of 2 so far on the drive on 3rd down. Cochran goes towards the end zone, tipped and incomplete. That one was batted away by Derek Meerkat, and their promising-looking drive will come to a grinding halt. 9 plays, 46 yards already on this drive, but they will send the kicker out. Ethan Sneed on to kick. Perfect on the season so far. This one will be from about 40 yards from the left hash.
Yeah, and Florida's going to have to stay away from, 3rd and longs especially, right? Because they're ranked 24th in the league in 3rd downs right now, 3rd down percentage.
The left-footed Ethan Sneed. Mike Hatt, the holder, gets the ball down, and it's up and good officially from 41 yards out. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, you can visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, it's football for everyone. 10 plays, 46 yards, 41-yard field goal. Took 3 minutes off the clock. Getting some points on the board. Always good, your opening possession. And now we'll see what Minnesota can do. Kick taken from the goal line and returned by Adam Banks. Up to the 21-yard line. Quarterback is Johnny Reno, the halfback Colin Hart, fullback Chris Komisak, the wide receivers Buchanan Simons, Quagmam, Jay Taylor, and you just saw Adam Banks. The tight ends, another team with a 2 tight end look, Christian Bachagalupi and Jason France. Johnny Reno in the gun. Get things started. 4 wide receiver look. Reno, quick pass, dumps it down over the middle, gains 5. Second down, Reno with 1,400 passing yards on the season, ranks 2nd in the league, Gerald, with 81% completion percentage. He's very efficient, number 1 in the league with only 3 picks through the first 5 games.
Yeah. Whenever you got a tremendous, 8 touchdowns to 3 interception ratio and completing 81% of your passes, I mean, you're going to be, pretty efficient. Hey, and that's one of the key to, them being 4-1 right now and leading the division.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's handed off to Colin Hart, always elusive, always dangerous. Gains 3 on that play, sets up a 3rd down and 2. You're talking about a quarterback comparison between Ron Cochran and Johnny Reno. Both of them come into today's game with 8 passing touchdowns each. The difference, Reno has 3 interceptions. Cochran's got 16. Those turnovers, that's really what cost Florida some wins. 3rd down and 2. Reno, quick pass up top, wide open. Jason France getting it out to the tight end. And quick short passes like that, that's part of the key to this passing efficiency.
Oh yeah, high percentage pass and everything, and converting, right? So they put themselves in very convertible situations all season long, especially with the rate that they're able to, pick up first downs. You pick up 4 yards first down, 4 yards second down, and all of a sudden you're 3rd and real short.
Reno, another quick short pass over the middle. This one to Jay Taylor. He'll catch the ball, gains 9, sets him up with a 2nd down and 1.
And it's almost like, like a lot of people seen them in the past on film and everything else. Yeah, man, it's almost like death by 1,000 cuts that they got give you right here. But, I mean, they do it efficiently, right? And they're smart about it, and their quarterback protects the ball.
Ball is handed off up the middle, this time to Chris Komisak. They'll give him the first down. Thought he might have been a little bit short, but powers through. First down at the Minnesota 47. The starting defense for the Florida Storm. The defensive line, Deontay Stoneville, Alessandro Tomaello, Alex Dominguez, and Pete Mitchell. The linebackers, Stephen Black, Ryan Tobin, and Aaron Gooden. The secondary is Ryan Davidson, Evan Carroll, Adam Jones, Adrian Blaine, and Andrew Francis. That pass over the middle is caught, but then laid out. Speaking of Stephen Black, there he is getting that tackle. Quag Mam with the catch.
I don't know. I don't know how Mam held on to the ball.
I don't know either. Oh, immediately leveled.
Holy cow.
Stephen Black, the inside linebacker for the Florida Storm, 6'5", 250 pounds. 4 seasons now in the league, all with the Storm. 3 backs in the backfield for the Legend. Ball is handed off to Hart. Oh, with blockers out in front, but there he is once again. Stephen Black coming from the middle of the defense, getting that tackle. That could have been a big run, holds him to only 4.
Yeah, he almost got caught, right? He cheated right up to the line, but he was able to get him right before he was kind of get right past him. So if he'd have got past, Black right there, he might be still running.
Second down and 6. Komisak takes the handoff and is immediately met at the line. Aaron Gooden getting in on the action. Gets the tackle. Third down and 5.
And one of the things that's going to be surprising to watch, especially in the passing game, the passing game of Minnesota versus the Florida passing defense. Florida ranks number 1 in pass defense.
They're almost last in the run, though. Reno, quick pass over the middle. That one's complete, keeps the drive alive. Jason France gets another catch. First down and 10 from the 24.
Yeah, and they hit her again. I mean, it's just they're just efficient at what they do, and very, very good route runners. In the wide receiving, category there with, all the guys got back there, including their 2 tight ends right there. So, it's tough in this league to ask a linebacker to try and cover a tight end, especially one of France's caliber.
France second on the team in receiving yards. Oh man.
Wow.
And these Florida defenders, they came to play today. Ryan Tobin making the punishing tackle, but France second in receiving yards only to wide receiver Jay Taylor, and he's only 20 yards behind him. So, in fact, with the yards that he has so far in this game, he's now leading the Minnesota Legend in receiving yards. Ball is handed off to Colin Hart, trying to get around the defenders. Looked like he was trying to get around some of his offensive line first. Andrew Francis gets the tackle, sets up a third down and 6.
I thought he put the perfect spin move right there. He went right up the middle and kind of spun right out of a tackle, but then once he was able to turn upfield, he kind of, got right behind his guy and caught up and just couldn't shake from behind him to be able to get any more yardage than that. But here's the third down.
2 of 2 so far on third down. Reno pumps and is incomplete. Trying to get it out to Adam Banks and couldn't do it. So another drive that was looking pretty good has stalled out. This one 12 plays in. Moved at 59 yards down to the 19. They'll have to settle for a field goal as well. Mickey Melillo out for the kick. Melillo 12 of 13 on the season. This one from 36 yards out from the left hash. Kick is on its way. It's up. It's through from 36. And all tied up at 3 apiece after both teams' opening possessions.
And they went down and able to get, able to get points out of it. And Minnesota, the key to their success has also been like their third down conversion. They're second in the league offensively in converting on third down. They convert 66% on third down, right? And Florida's no slouch on defense either. They're in the top 7 in first downs allowed.
So you see the stats from both teams' opening drives, 59 yards and 46 yards respectively. Minnesota getting it mainly done through the air, and Florida on the ground. Both teams averaged about 4.5 yards per play on their opening possession, but both teams' drives stalled out. So we'll see what they can do on this one. Beletsky with 36 yards on the opening possession.
And he actually marched down the field differently. One did it with the run, and the other did it with the pass.
Cochran gets it out to Veridin Zarkov, who gets carried out of bounds after a gain of 6.
And that's all Florida got to do, right? Especially, hey, high percentage passes, similar to what Minnesota's been doing. You get your high percentage passes in there, right, and get yourself out of bounds, or high percentage stuff just to get yourself in a flow. So you can get some feet, get your feet under you, and be able to start moving the ball and get some confidence there too. And then the way they've been able to mix up the run, especially on their first drive, with Beletsky.
Beletsky takes a handoff this time, but is immediately met in the backfield by Mississippi. Fired in the backfield real quick. Nobody touched him.
It's kind of crazy to see too, because Beletsky is actually in danger of kind of getting less yardage overall so far than what his longest run was thus far in the game of 31 yards.
4 wide receiver look on 3rd down and 7. They were 2 of 3 in their opening possession. Oh, they get this one out to Stephen Bush. He gets the catch up to the 41-yard line. Almost picked off. Like Tyga Clay was tried to get it just outside his fingertips.
Yeah, I think it was Tyga Clay right there, man. Just timed his jump a little bit wrong, or kind of made a jump and kind of had to go backwards a bit, but that was a dangerous pass, but Cochran put it where it needed it to be, and now here you are, especially after 3rd and long, being able to convert.
3 wide receivers, a tight end, and a running back in the formation. Cochran under pressure. Down he goes. Max Knight getting the sack back to the 34-yard line. A loss of 7.
Max Knight, that's a whole lot of man right there. And that's Max Knight getting his 6.5 sack of the season.
6'5", 350 pounds. Fills the entire screen. 2nd season with the legend. 5th in the league. Cochran, quick pass, look at triple coverage right where it needed to be, and gets the first down, connecting with E.J. Minson.
Some people call him Riverboat Ron, and guess what? He actually gambled on that one, but he trusted himself and his teammate right there. Oh man, that was double coverage. B.H. Loveless kind of turned his back right there, almost even hit it with the back of his hand.
I would say right over Loveless's shoulder, right where it needed to be. That's what you get with the 12-season veteran, 4-time All-Star, Ron Cochran. Hasn't been in the All-Star game since season 16. See if he can get this season turned around, get those stats up. Beletsky gets the pass, gets it up to the 40. That gain of 9 will bring us to the end of quarter number 1. So all tied up at 3 apiece after 1 quarter of action, but 3 more to go. We'll see what happens on the other side of this break. You're watching the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. Welcome back to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we are tied up 3 apiece. Ron Cochran and the Florida Storm on offense. I'm Mike Daggs, joined in the booth by Gerald Smith, Charlie Boletsky. We're running the football, getting the first down. Ron Haynes, Aaron Gooden with us on stats. Cameron Irvine back at SFL Studios on production for us as always. First down and 10 for Florida on only their second drive, Gerald. These teams both burned up the entire first quarter on 2.5 drives.
Yeah, high percentage passes and the run game as well, right? So it's nothing that they're throwing deep, but they're actually moving down the field. Florida get the ball back here.
Cochran steps up, throws that one tipped and incomplete. Batted away by Ryan Evans.
I thought Max Knight was gonna get in there and cause some more havoc, and it looked like Ron thought the same thing. He's like, "Oh, that big man's here. I got to get rid of it."
Ron Cochran, 7 of 10, 60 yards so far through 1.5 possessions. Short drop for Cochran, throws and gets another completion, his 8th of the day, this time to Stephen Bush.
And that was all timing right there too, right? I think he just threw it to a spot, expected his guy to be there, and trusted that he was going to be there, and made it happen right there. He just threw it right there because a couple of guys, because you had your other receiver, kind of Art Vandelay, kind of coming across right there, right? If he threw it just maybe a split second later, kind of bounces off his teammate's back.
3 wide receiver look once again for the Storm. Boletsky being chased down by Angela Meerkat is able to just barely get around the outside, gains 3 on the play, gets up to 40 yards now on the day.
Yeah, the undrafted rookie and Leroy James got put on his backside by Angela Meerkat right off the line.
10 plays now on this drive. Quick pass over the middle into tight coverage once again and gets the completion all the way down to the 2-yard line. These are some really tight passes. Gets it to Optimus Klein, the wily old vet.
Yeah, the 13-season veteran.
Yeah, back with Florida now.
Yeah, his first season back after spending a few seasons in San Diego. I mean, look, those guys have old chemistry, right? I mean, they just know what they're doing, right? He just threw it out there, expected Optimus to grab it, and he did. Crazy trust.
First down and goal. Boletsky gets the handoff, met at the line of scrimmage, brought down for no gain on the play. Mississippi with another tackle.
If Juan Mississippi doesn't grab him right there at the line of scrimmage, Boletsky's walking in the end zone.
Boletsky's got 4 rushing touchdowns so far on the season, none through receiving. It'd be interesting to see if he might get another swing route pass. He's gotten a couple of them in this game already. Cochran to throw pressure on his way, and down he goes, sacked back at the 9. This time brought down by Meerkat.
Yeah, and she didn't quite bulldoze the offensive lineman that time, but she just got the edge on him, and Cochran had nowhere to go with the ball.
3rd down and goal. They had a 1st and goal from the 2. Now a 3rd and long. Had to settle for a field goal on their opening possession. No, not want to do it again. This time they're going to jumping catch, but just wrapped up and tackled Rick Evans, making the grab. And it'll be a 4th and goal from the 1. And yeah, Ethan Snead back out on the field to kick.
Check that man's ribs, because he jump up and get the ball like that, and it kept himself exposed, and he got speared right in the ribs.
Field goal, a chip shot, a little bit closer than an extra point. At with the hold, Snead with the kick. It's up, it's good from 17, and Florida reclaims their 3-point lead. The SFL would like to recognize some staff who operate mostly behind the scenes to keep the league operational. Andrew Rastelli operates the minor league, gets new coaches up to speed and players onto teams and in the portal. Ashley Jackson helps to keep our community a welcoming place for all. And Marcus Dunhill assists with contracts and off-season construction. Thanks to all of our terrific staff that has helped the SFL to 10 years of operation. Return brought up to the 22-yard line, and with 7 minutes and 14 seconds to go in the first half, Minnesota's on the field for their second offensive possession.
Look, and there's been no punts, right? There's only been 3 total possessions.
3 drives, 3 scores.
This makes 4. Look, and I'm sitting there looking at the over/under at 54.5. I just don't think we're going to get anywhere near that right now.
Not at this pace, we're not. There ain't enough clock. And Chris Komisak trying to get a yard, and he does. 1 whole yard before being absolutely leveled. Second down and 9. We've had a few third downs. They just keep converting them all. 8 third downs between these 2 teams, and only not able to convert a couple. That run by Colin Hart, good for a gain of 2. Sets up another third down and 7. In fact, Minnesota went 2 of 3 on third down in their opening possession. See if they can keep this one going, because if they can't, we might see our first punt of the ball game.
Yeah, but look, and on Minnesota's side, they are number 2 in the league in conversions on third down.
5 wide receiver look, third down and 7, throwing it into traffic, and it's incomplete. So our first possession that's not going to be 10-plus plays. And, in fact, every drive's been 10 plays so far or more. They got progressively longer, Gerald. 10-play drive, 13-play drive, 15-play drive, and then a quick 3 and out that didn't even take a minute off the clock. Yeah, about 1 minute and 3 seconds, actually, so a little bit more. Ryan Platt on to punt for the Legend. Klein back to receive, standing at about his own 40.
Yeah, Stephen Black made an excellent play on that last play right there. He almost picked it off. Was able to knock it down.
Klein brings it up to the 40. And that's where Florida will take over on the other side of the break. So Florida with a 3-point lead and in possession of the football. We'll see what they do on the other side of the break. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. Five wide receiver look for the Storm. Ron Cochran in the gun on first down. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Under pressure, and down he goes again. Third sack of the ball game. Max Knight getting another one, second down and 13. We've got an update from SFL Studios. Cameron Irvine, take it away.
Thanks, Mike. Over in Raleigh, North Carolina, Tori Hanzo with his first carry of the day, absolutely annihilated by Josh Rowe. Fumble, Houston recovers. Scoreless in the first. You can catch that game on SFL YouTube, youtube.com/simulationfl. Back to you guys at the eye.
Thank you, Cam. Cochran throws on the run, and that one is incomplete. E.J. Minson, the intended target. It'll set up a third down and 13.
It almost looked like Cochran is just kind of nervous back there, right? Because Max Knight just got in there to, the play before to sack him for a second time today. And there it was. I think he saw big Max Knight trying to come up the middle again, so he kind of tried to roll out to his left and make a pass, and I don't think E.J. Minson was ready for it.
Third down and 13 now. Cochran to throw, pressure on its way again. Pass is complete to Bush, but his momentum will carry him out of bounds at their own 44-yard line. And after 3 back-to-back scoring drives, we have back-to-back drives ending in punts. 3 and outs for the both of them. Marcus Agrippa on to punt for the Storm.
Yeah, that last drive right here got shut down by the Minnesota defensive line right there. They just put pressure on Cochran on those 3 plays, and now here they are forcing a punt.
And the punt is away. Florida with quite a bit more yards on offense than Minnesota. But they have a whole extra possession to their name, even though both teams really didn't gain a whole lot on their last possession. Colin Hart, he's been quiet so far, only 13 yards on 5 rushing attempts through their first 2 possessions.
Yeah, and I would think that, that was something, especially in the running game, that, Minnesota would want to attack with Florida struggling against the run most of the season. So.
Right. Yeah, they've been getting run all over. They're second to last in run defense. That's what I was going to say. This Florida defense, number 1 in passing defense, but are they? I mean, statistically, yes. But is it because other teams have just been getting it done on the ground? They don't have to pass, so of course Florida's not giving up passing yards.
They didn't get up past too many passing yards to us a couple weeks ago. We threw 4 picks, but
you did,
But I mean, look, it got them their first win, right? And they obviously, found something, on the defensive side. I mean, because here they are. I mean, they're holding Minnesota, who scores over 30 points a game.
Yeah.
Through the first quarter and a half to only just 3 points.
Gain of 6 on the first play. Oh, nice move by Hart to stutter step. And that'll get them a gain of 3. Sets up a third down and 1 from their own 27.
I tell you what, he navigated that pretty well.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, that the defense had a lot of penetration kind of coming in back there, and he was able to kind of skirt right by and get him a little, almost like a stop and go, and he just wasn't able to reach the end, but here a 3rd and 1.
Offset eye on third down and overthrows his target. Tried to get it out to Jason France, who dove for it, but couldn't quite get there on a quick post route.
And who's been involved on a lot of these Florida defensive stops and plays has been Stephen Black.
Yeah.
He's been involved in a play before that kind of shut them down on a 3rd down and knock it out, and there he was out in coverage.
He's had some punishing hits, too. Couple of tackles, a pass deflection, assisted tackles. He's just been disruptive. So another quick 3 and out. This one quicker than the last. Minute 12 on the last 3 and out. This one all of about 50 seconds. 49 officially from the stats truck. 4 minutes, 10 seconds to go here in the first half. And only 9 points on the board. So the over-under looks pretty under at the moment.
Pretty under. It's like way under. We're not even in double-digit combined yet.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if Florida can get some more points on this possession. Ball is handed off to Beletsky and immediately wrapped up at the line. They'll spot him with a gain of 1. But that is about it. Next week on Next Level Sports, the unbeaten Atlanta Swarm. We'll try to keep it that way. But the Portland Fleet have a win streak going, and they want to spoil the Swarm's dreams of a number 1 seed. Kickoff is next Saturday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Next Level Sports. Next Level Sports, get more. Cochran to throw. on second down, and that one is complete. Bobbled but caught. Third down and 4. Gets it out to J.W. Doyle, the fullback.
Look, and the way these two defenses have been playing like these last few drives, where it's just 3 punts in a row, 2 by Minnesota, 1 by Florida, and their Florida is facing a third down themselves. So, and we're going to see how they're going to attack it right here to come out more like it's a 3 wide receiver set with 2 tight ends.
3 of 6 on third down so far, and that one is incomplete. I think that the receivers got confused, Gerald.
Yeah, he was just kind of hanging out there. It's like he didn't see the ball. And
Stephen Bush went for it, and so did the backup tight end, Shaba Debo. And I don't think either one really knew where it was going. Bush go for it. Debo didn't move.
Well, I don't think Debo says, "Nah, that's not coming for me. I'm a backup. They don't ever throw me the ball.
I'm just out here to block. I'm a decoy."
Right. There's 2 other tight ends out there that got catching, not me.
Well, he could have made somewhat of an effort. Agrippa punts this one away back to the 14-yard line. Banks brings it up to the 18-yard line. And not a lot of offensive production yet for this Minnesota offense. 51 passing yards, 20 rushing yards.
And that's kind of crazy because Minnesota is actually 10th in the league in yards per game on offense. And for them to be held so far through almost 2 quarters to only 71 total yards, Florida's got something good going on.
Well, they got a field goal on their opening possession, and they have not really done anything since. That completion out to Jay Taylor will get them a 9-yard gain. It's Taylor's first catch of the ball game.
Yeah, near the yard, 2nd and 1, and they don't look like they too much in a rush. Hey, I get it. We're just right under 3 minutes. Here in the second quarter, but you're inside your own 30. I figured they'd go a little bit more tempo, try and get down the field and get some points.
Hart gets the handoff, gets met in the backfield, gets dropped for a loss. Brought down by Ryan Tobin, 3rd down and 3.
And here we are. I guess we're going to find out what Minnesota's plans are right here with this 3rd and 3, coming in right here. So if they were to pick this up, I would imagine they're going to start kind of doing some tempo. Because they're set to receive the second half kick.
We'll see what they do. At one point you said, hey, there's been no punts in this game. Now we've had
And look who it is.
Yep, there he is once again. Stephen Black jumping in front of the ball, getting the pass deflection. Gerald, we had 3 drives in a row of back-to-back-to-back scores, and now 5 consecutive possessions by these 2 teams with punts.
Yeah, and they were like, we each got a score in the first quarter. I think we ought to just trade punts for the entire second.
Ryan Platt on for his 3rd consecutive drive to punt. High snap is corralled in. And punted away. Fair catch called for back at the 42-yard line. And they'll take back over on offense there.
This is the 3rd straight possession, if I'm not mistaken, where Florida is going to have the ball within
almost
4
midfield,
yards.
Yeah.
Within 4 yards. They start, their possession right before this was at the 38. The possession before that was at their own 40, and here they are at their own 42.
And they
Great
haven't been
field
able to
position,
convert.
and they better do nothing. 3 and out.
Not even a field goal to speak of. Cochran down to the bottom. This time he's able to find Minson. Connects at the 48-yard line, 2nd down and 5.
It's just look, if you like defensive games so far through 2 quarters, this is it right here.
Or if you love punting. There's got to be some fan out there that's like, gosh, I just love a good punt.
I don't know who that guy is because it ain't me. Even though, look.
2 minutes to go here in the first half of action. We'll see if there's some action at the second half, perhaps. 3-6 the score. Florida looking to add to it. We'll be back after this. Stay with us. 2 minutes to go here in the first half from the I in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. 6-3 the score. Down in 5. Boletsky gets the handoff, met at the line, breaks 2 tackles, gets a first down, and into Minnesota territory. Some offense.
That's the most exciting play of the first half right there. Watching Boletsky break 2 tackles on his way to pick up the first down. At least we're going to see right here. I mean, it's not a 3-and-out. I guess those who showed up to see the 6-time All-Star and Marcus Agrippa wearing they, number 2 jerseys in the stands are going to have to wait a little bit longer.
Yep. No punt on this drive quite yet. Don't worry, there's still time. Cochran under center now on first down. And a free play as the defense jumps off sides, which is good because Boletsky got nothing on that play. Coming up on the APM Music Halftime Report, the one and only with really great, impeccable hair. Cameron Irvine updates viewers on the news and notes from around the SFL, including Week 7 scores already gone final, plus a preview of the Cam and Paul Monday Night Spectacular Game of the Week, Vancouver and Louisiana. It's all coming up on the APM Music Halftime Report. He's got like this Clark Kent thing going on.
Yeah, man, I kind of dig it. Like as a DC comic book fan, I see that, and I'm so jealous because I can't grow any more hair. It's like gone. I can grow it on the sides and maybe comb it over and do a little swirl.
I bet if we found like a city that still has like phone booths, if we stuck Cam in there, he'd come out and he'd just be wearing Superman like spandex and a cape. Boletsky getting something going. Sometimes I forget there's football going on still. First down and 10 at the 29-yard line, minute 18, and the clock is rolling. Boletsky with 59 yards now on the day.
Yeah, Boletsky, here he is. He runs for a 10-yard gain, 1st and 5, which is kind of crazy to say. It just kind of like never really happens. But
Boletsky gets the ball behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to lose quite a bit. They'll go into the hurry-up.
Mello was waiting on that.
Yeah, he read that one like a book, and I don't know if I would have gone into the hurry-up there. It took the offense a long time to get back to the line of scrimmage. Cochran throws it up to Boletsky, spins and stepped out of bounds. Stops the clock with 44 seconds to go. 3rd down and 14, right on the edge of field goal range. This would be a long one from here.
Man, Boletsky had such an opportunity right there. It was really one-on-one. I'd take Boletsky every single time right there. But when he was trying to make that spin move, he just got his toe out of bounds.
Boletsky's got great hair, too. On the sideline for this 3rd down here, 5 wide receiver look. Cochran in the gun, throws for first down. And it is caught. E.J. Minson down at the 5-yard line. Florida will burn a timeout with 38 seconds to go. First down and goal. Finally, some offensive fireworks.
And that was a perfect throw by Cochran right there. Threw it high to where it's only his guy can get it. And Minson brought it down and got him right there inside the 5. So here we are at the 5, 38 seconds left, 1st and goal. I would hope that we would get some Boletsky runs right here.
Well, they had a 1st and goal from the 2 earlier on in the second quarter here, and they weren't able to get a touchdown off of it. Boletsky got the 1st and goal handoff and was stuffed right at the line. They'll throw on 1st and goal this time, gets it out to the right-hand side, caught by Veridin Zarkov, the tight end. That'll be a loss of 2.
It gives them 2 yards worth of room. I don't know if it helps them or hurts them.
Well, we'll see right there. Helps them. Touchdown, Storm. Finally, we get a touchdown on the board. Hashtag throw to the tight end. Ron Haynes gets the catch, gets 6.
Ron Haynes with the touchdown, which has put his team up. Where we at? 9 points. Pending the extra point, could be 10. And that's Ron Haynes' first touchdown of the season. Congratulations to him on the season.
Zarkov, the more heavily used tight end in this offense. Haynes with only 6 catches for 31 yards coming into tonight's game. It's his first catch of the ball game, but the most crucial catch from either team, as that's the first touchdown of the ball game. Extra point is up and good. Not only is that Ron Haynes' first touchdown of the season, Gerald, that was his first touchdown catch of his career. 2 seasons in the league. And finally is able to get a catch in the end zone. And and that extends his team's lead by 10.
I wish I could say I had a first touchdown catch. Well, I don't know. I have a pick six. That is a thing.
It's a touchdown catch.
It's a touchdown
yeah.
catch. It's not logged as a catch, but you got to catch it.
We were surprised you could run that far.
I was gassed. I was gassed at the end of it.
Banks gets it out to the 22-yard line. Only 19 seconds to go. And Minnesota, who they put up points. They got a top 10 offense, 31 points per game. They've only got 3 so far. Probably not going to have enough time to get any more points here in the first half.
No, I think they're going to hand this to Colin Hart and kind of run it out and see what they get, what they don't get, right? They're just going to take it and just, be ready to come out at the half.
And Hart does indeed take the handoff. Only gains a yard. Colin Hart with 13 yards. Only 13 yards in the first half. Well, 14 yards after that last run, but they're going to need some more production out of him and the rest of this offense. So 13-3, your score at the half. Stay tuned as we roll through the first half stats and highlights. Gerald, your thoughts on the first half so far?
The Florida defense. The Florida defense only allowing 79 yards, total yards.
They're getting it done.
And when here you are, Florida, I mean, they're just, they more than doubled, like from an offensive output. And that's what I was saying, coming off the bye week. I mean, Florida found something, defensively and offensively, right? Hey, look here. I mean, Cochran doesn't have any turnovers, right? I mean, we talked about that early on. Cochran having 8 touchdown passes on the season, 9, including the one today, to 16 interceptions, but they're able to kind of, reduce that to nearly nothing after their win prior on their first win of the season. He was able to go 2 touchdowns and only 1 interception. So I think the story of the game for me right now is the Florida defense being able to shut down and limit any productivity from any aspect of their offensive, game plan for Minnesota.
Yeah, it's been it was a slow start to this one, but finally get some action going. Hopefully that carries over into the second half. Stay tuned for the APM Music Halftime Report. Cameron Irvine after the break. You're watching the Simulation Football League on Next Level Sports.
Welcome to the APM Music Halftime Report. I'm Cameron Irvine. Me and my overhyped pair have returned here at the SFL studios. At the half, Minnesota down 13-3. Despite Florida being 1-4, Minnesota 4-1. You can never count anybody out in the SFL. Going on SFL YouTube, it is Carolina 7, Houston 3. The Skyhawks have an Ike McBride touchdown, and those are the only points in that game. Ron Haynes' first career touchdown is the difference here at the break for Florida. Earlier today, the West and North divisions saw minor and major shifts to the standings. First, London took advantage of an injured Jet Zero, and Queen City's bad luck continued in a 34-17 loss to the Knights. Queen City this season has thrown a fourth-quarter interception in the end zone when a field goal would have tied the game. Lost the game throwing when the Corsairs should have run the clock out. Now played one of the biggest games of the season without their star back. The Corsairs are 0-6. London climbs to 3-3. In Canton, the Classics are trying to stop a London Knights surge, but will have to wait another week after falling flat against the Fury this afternoon, 34-9. Canton earned 26 first downs on 76 offensive plays, but scored 0 touchdowns. What does all this do for the standings? Let's take a look at that. Las Vegas improved to 5-1, sliding into first place in the West, dropping Arizona into a wild card spot despite the Scorpions' 5-1 record. Canton drops to 3-3 and still controls their destiny in the North thanks to an early season win over London, but that margin of error has gone to 0. Vegas, Arizona, and Canton London will see each other again in rematches on the final weekend of the regular season, perhaps for division crowns and playoff berths on the line. Coming up later tonight, we've got Seattle and Sioux Falls, Atlanta, Los Angeles on SFL YouTube. Atlanta is unbeaten. We'll see them next week on Next Level Sports against Portland. Los Angeles is winless, off to an extremely rough start this season. Seattle, the surprise team. They've won 2 in a row. They're 2-3. Sioux Falls, a team that won a playoff game last season, is also 2-3 after their Monday loss to Atlanta. We'll see who's going to 3-3 in that game. On Sunday, Tulsa tries to beat Jacksonville for the first time, 0-4 against the Kings, a surprising stat there, while Baltimore welcomes Fort Worth to Sports Gamers Online Stadium for the first time. 6th season for Fort Worth in the SFL. This is their first ever trip to Baltimore. That's a tough place to play. And the last time those two teams played, Fort Worth lost 44-10. That's the most points they've ever given up, and that's the least points they've ever scored. So the Toros are trying to get revenge on those unbeaten Vultures in the nightcap. Indy will take on Portland, and San Diego will face Denver. Coming up on Impact Monday this upcoming week, it's the Louisiana Revolution hosting the Vancouver Legion. And that should be a great one. Battle of 3-2 teams. The last 3 times those two teams have met, the losing team has scored 34 points. It's been a bunch of shootouts. Paul Sarp and I will be there for that one. For now, it's Florida 13 and Minnesota 3. The 4-1 Minnesota Legend. They're on the standings in 4th place right now, but they are having their struggles with the Florida Storm. Mike Daggs and Gerald Smith have your call of the second half when we return. This has been the APM Music Halftime Report. Thanks for watching, and we'll keep you updated on all the SFL action going on. We'll see you then.
I'm just that late. Welcome back to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, as we second half of action started. 13-3. The Storm here at home out in front of the high-powered offense of the Minnesota Legend, who has yet to be high-powered here tonight. Johnny Reno, 7 of 11, 60 yards, no touchdowns yet on the day. Colin Hart with 8 rushing attempts, 14 total yards. The leading receiver for the Legend, tight end Jason France, with 3 catches, 27 yards. Just not a lot of production no matter where you look.
No. And they don't have a lot of yards because they had a ton of 3-and-outs happening as well, right? So, when you're not resetting the downs, you're definitely not gaining any yards.
Reno on the first pass of the second half attempts to get it out to the eligible tackle, Pine. And Pine not known for his hands.
He should probably be on the Pine. I'm wondering. What did Bachikalupi? Did he just not? Kind of. I don't know. He's still eating his orange slices back in the locker room, or eating some bananas or something. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. I think he might have been washing the orange juice off his fingers after the orange slices and did not come out of the locker room quite yet. But I think that they should take that play and flush it. See what they can do here on second down. Offset eye in the backfield will hand this one off to Colin Hart. Oh, Hart with some blocking. And he's got a nice gain up to the 41-yard line, a gain of 20. Will more than double his yards so far in this one.
And where do they run? They run on that side right there where Bachikalupi was there leading one of the Chargers to get a block there. He's like, I'm here. I'm going to spring my guy for some yards.
Watch me and my sticky fingers make this block. Gets it done. First down and 10 at the 41. So their first drive that has not been a 3-and-out or ending in the half in their past 4 possessions. Reno gets it out to Hart. This time, ouch, punishingly tackled for a very short loss. They'll spot it with no loss, but I saw the guy with the down marker take a step back. Second down and 10, Ryan Tobin with the TFL.
And this is something interesting, too, right here that I just noticed. Minnesota's first drive for a field goal was 13 plays. All their possessions in the rest of the first half equaled 13 plays.
Yeah, four possessions, 13 plays compared to their opening drive. This one looking a little more promising. Jason France says, get out my way, son. Third down and 4.
Somebody had their orange slices or the spinach or something.
Spinach at the half?
Yeah, man,
spinach at halftime.
Like Popeye, to squeeze the can, it just comes out, squirts up in the air, and falls in your mouth.
You're not talking about Popeye down in downtown New Orleans, I hope.
No, man, he got them glow sticks.
He does have glow sticks. Reno over the middle. He's Popeye in New Orleans. He sells all sorts of weird stuff, if I'm being honest. Jay Taylor gets the catch, gets the first down into Florida territory. So just like their opening drive, Gerald, very methodical, efficient. They're getting it done on the ground and through the air. Got a couple of first downs now. See if they can keep this one going.
And this is and that's what I expected to see out of Minnesota, right throughout the whole first half. But we only got a glimpse of that on their first drive, and it looks like we're getting it here in the second half.
Short drop by Reno, hit as he throws, and that one's incomplete. A dangerous throw. And we've got an update back from SFL Studios. Cameron Irvine, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Mike. Ike McBride having herself a day for the Carolina Skyhawks. 101 yards on 13 carries and this terrific touchdown. Carolina leads the Headhunters, who are struggling this season, 14-6. Skyhawks trying to get to 4-2 at the midway point.
Thank you, Cam. Reno once again throwing it to a well-covered target, Christian Bachikalupi. First pass going his way so far today. Double covered at the time, though, Gerald.
Yeah, he had his opportunity to bring that one in because he got it on his hands. You get both your hands on it, you should be able to bring that in. And maybe it felt like him kind of hanging out in the locker room a little bit longer. He may have missed his opportunity to catch a pass. Instead, they put the tackle eligible out there. But here it is, a 3rd and long, and they are one of the best teams in the league at converting on 3rd down.
Reno throws into coverage again, and that one's incomplete. Ryan Davidson right in front of Buchanan Simons. And Johnny Reno, second in the league in quarterback rating, 110.5. Second in completion percentage so far today, just not getting it done. Completed so far 55% of his passes and a rating of only 66.2. Simons with his first target of the day, and it was no good.
Yeah, and this is not what Minnesota needs. Oh, we almost blocked that. But that's not what Minnesota needed, right? Minnesota needed to be able to go down and be able to get some points out of it.
Almost a great special teams play, but it just rolled into the end zone. Ryan Platt's punt dropped down at the 4 and rolls just across the goal line. So Florida out on the field for their first drive of the second half. Ron Cochran, 18-23, a touchdown, 144 yards. He's got a triple-digit quarterback rating, 107.2. Getting things done for his team as they lead by 10. 3 wide receiver look, and Cochran throws the weirdest pass you'll ever see. I don't know what that was. B.J. Lovelace, he was so caught off guard, he couldn't catch it either.
Well, like I was about to say, B.J. Lovelace was like, oh, my God, I bet the ball looks so big. And he started eyeing up the end zone, saying, hey, we're going to get a touchdown out of this. And he just couldn't haul it in. I'm so confused about what Ron was doing right there.
Old Stonehands Lovelace trying to get the catch. Couldn't do it. Cochran to throws a spiral this time, but for the second pass in a row, throws it straight to a legend defender. This time, Daniel Wright, also with Stonehand syndrome.
It didn't even look like it, on the second monitor watching here, this little replay we got here. It looked like Daniel Wright just went up to and just batted it down with both hands. You know how people are supposed to do whenever Hail Mary comes to where just bat it down, but they tend to pop it up. And
he could have walked that into the end zone, but falls down to the turf at risk of a very quick 3 and out. They're down in 10, 5 wide. Cochran throws, and that one is the third pass that goes to a legend defender. Once again, back-to-back passes to Daniel Wright. To the jugs machine, Mr. Wright. You need to learn how to catch.
Yeah. Maybe he tried, but look, at least they stopped into a 3 and out and be able to get the ball back. With a punter like Agrippa, I'm assuming they're gonna take possession of this somewhere around the 35-yard line. Their own 35.
Punt is away. 6 straight incompletions now in the game. Back to back. First down and 10 for Minnesota. They'll start from their own 44-yard line.
And Minnesota has really, really good starting field position here. 6 yards from midfield. And about, 25 yards from getting into legitimate field goal range.
Reno in the gun. 3 wide receivers out to his right, 1 to the left. Quick pass over the middle. Gets a first down on the first play of the drive. Picking up right where they left off. Gets it back out to France.
Yeah, France for 10 right there. I mean, that's not, it looked like it was short right there, but looked like they gave it to him anyway. But that's just stuff that they gotta keep doing, right? They gotta be able to hit these routes like that and find the open guy like that. Take your high percentage passes and everything else, and maybe throw it the heart out of the backfield.
Another 4 wide receiver look. Reno going deep over the middle and overthrows his target once again. That one falls incomplete. Second down. Liking the game so far? Smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The SFL produces over 400 events a year. There is nobody else that gives you more football. Don't miss a minute of the SFL or SFLM action and help the channel grow through your support. Thank you for helping the SFL reach 10 years of operation through your viewership. Second down and 10.
That last pass looked like Buchanan Simons didn't even see the pass coming.
Yeah, I don't think he did. That one out to Colin Hart. Breaks a tackle, steps out of bounds. Only a gain of 2 on the play. Third down and 8.
I'm not even going to say how good Minnesota is on third down because they done punted so many times. I think it's irrelevant at this point, especially in this game. But this is a big one of the bigger third downs for them right here. I mean, they're down 2 scores, and they have to get something positive happening, especially on third down, to get themselves in a position to put more points on the board.
Reno, short pass over the middle, and it is picked off. Our first turnover of the ball game. Finally, somebody on defense able to pick it off. Adam Jones gets the takeaway.
Dude, and look, and guess who it is involved in the play again? It's Stephen Black.
Yeah.
He batted up the pass. He's been a menace, especially right up the middle, and making tackles and then batting balls down and everything else all game. So they're going to have to find something different to do, or because it's almost as if Stephen Black knows what's coming and where the ball's going there.
So Florida takes back over at their own 36-yard line. Cochran changing the play at the line. No scoring yet here in the second half. Pressure.
Whoa.
Oh, there we go. How many passes was that to a Legend defender? Finally, one is taken away. Picked off by Johnny Bravo, and that'll be great starting field position for the Legend.
Johnny Bravo ran a better route than Stephen Bush did right there. It's like he knew no sooner Stephen Bush was trying to make his cut, he knew where the ball was going. And Ron was being under pressure, and it seemed like he just had to get it out and just didn't anticipate Bravo running the better route than his teammate.
So first down and 10 from the Florida 37-yard line. Make it the Florida 40-yard line after a loss of 4. Ryan Tobin getting into the backfield. His second tackle for a loss on the day.
I tell you what, you couldn't tell me after seeing this game right here that Florida has one of the worst rushing defenses in a game in the league, because they're shutting down the run of Minnesota right now. Uh-oh.
Reno, wide open target down the right sideline. It's too bad he had to dive for it. He gets the catch at the 16, but Buchanan Simons had a clear path to the end zone, but first down and 10 from the 16-yard line after that great catch by Simons.
They finally took a chance down the field and not throwing it over the middle in Stephen Black's direction, and they decided to hit Buchanan Simons, who looked like he kind of run a go route, a fade route, but he was open.
Reno to Hart. Hart able to gain a couple. Second down and 7.
And I would expect a lot more of that, especially down here now that you're inside the red zone and now you're inside the 15-yard line, to be able to dump it off, to Colin Hart coming out of the backfield right here. Nothing dangerous. Try and not get yourself in any deep situations where you're thrown over the middle deep in the end zone.
Reno back to pass, fires towards the end zone and into the end zone. 4-6, touchdown Minnesota. They will cut into Florida's lead. Buchanan Simons with his second catch on the drive.
Yeah, don't listen to me. You can throw it wherever you feel like it, because apparently you know what you're doing, especially, Reno being, one of the most accurate passers in the league right now. He knew where he was going, and his guy went up there, threw it to that spot, and Buchanan Simons was able to bring it down and bring the lead to 4 points.
Stephen Black with a personal foul for a late hit on that play. Black's been all over the place, Gerald. Like you said, he's been a huge factor in this game, and maybe showing a little frustration there, knowing just how good of a game he's been doing, and his defense finally letting up a touchdown. Got a little bit frustrated on that one. Mickey Malillo on for the extra point. Kick is up. Kick is good. 13-10 now here from the I. Tomorrow on SFL YouTube, Fort Worth visits Baltimore for the first time. Tulsa will try to beat Jacksonville for the first time, and Indy travels to take on Red Hot Portland, plus San Diego and Denver tussle out west. Coverage starts at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, only on SFL YouTube. YouTube.com/simulationfl. Klein takes it from the 2. Returns up the left side, brought down at the 27. So finally, some offensive scoring. Cochran looked a little shaky these past several passes, Gerald. 4 passes in a row that were touched by a Minnesota defender. period. I mean, not getting it out to his team at all. And finally on that fourth one, it was taken away.
Yeah, I think head coach, maybe Max Paul's on silent here, said, or head coach from Minnesota there says, hey, put some stickum on your hands. We're going to grab it the next time. Even though I thought that was illegal.
Orange slice juice. That might help too.
Maybe that's legal.
I don't think it's outlawed. Charlie Boletsky getting involved. Gets a nice run there. He's still had a relatively quiet day, statistically speaking, compared to how he's done in the past. 12 rushing attempts now with 68 yards, averaging 5.7 per carry, but that's in large part because of a 31-yard rush. Without that one carry, he's 11 for 37 yards. So see what he does throughout this drive. Cochran down to the bottom. That pass is complete. Stephen Bush, good for 8.
Yeah, that looked a little bit dangerous for me. When I seen him throw it, I seen nothing but 3 white jerseys down there and 1 red. But he threw it right where Bush could grab it.
Yeah, triple coverage, but at least Bush was out in front that time. Stephen Bush, 11 seasons in the league, 7 with the Storm. Offset I formation on second down. Boletsky takes the handoff, spins right into the back of Leroy James. 3rd down and 1.
And that's a great tackle right there by B.J. Loveless, fighting off the block from the pulling guard right there in Leroy James. And, but that's a veteran linebacker taking on a rookie offensive lineman there.
Boletsky falls forward for the first down, barely. Was hit by Mark Mello in the backfield, but momentum carried him forward, tackled at the 49, 1st down and 10.
Mello grabbed him to turn him backwards and then laid a hit on him that pushed him forward about 2 or 3 yards.
Cochran's rating only 79.1 so far in this ball game, 159 yards and a pick. Trying to get things turned around, and that'll help. Gets it out to Veridin Zarkov, keeps the chains moving. 1st down in Minnesota territory.
Yeah, and look, and this is what Florida needs to do to be able to answer that. Them throwing that interception there and then giving up a touchdown. So here they are. They're marching down and they're in Minnesota territory now. So, they're only a few yards from field goal range here.
2 backs now in the backfield for Florida. 3.5 to go here in quarter number 3. Out route down to the bottom. Connects to Boletsky. Falls forward 4 yard. 2nd down and 9. This drive already 6 plays in. So far their most productive drive here of the second half. And honestly, it's one of their most productive drives since their last drive of the first half, which was an aberration. They really couldn't get much going in the first half other than a pair of field goals. Cochran on 2nd down. That one is incomplete. Just trying to get that one out to Ron Haynes. 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, and Ron Haynes, he made a good route right there, man. But the defender was right there to hit him. Right as he's put his hands on the ball and jarred it loose.
So 3rd down and 9 now for Florida. Still 50% on 3rd down in this game. 5 of 10. They've had 3rd downs aplenty. This one, a 3rd and long. They're outside of field goal range, not by a lot. If they could at least get 5, they might be able to try for an Ethan Snead field goal. So at least get half. Cochran pumps. He's going for more than half. Triple coverage, and it is caught at the 20-yard line. Just fits it in there to E.J. Minson and gets the 1st down right at the outside of the red zone.
He threw it right over the head of Axel Raven. Watch this right here. I don't know how he didn't bat it down or anything, or maybe didn't even see it because he started turning his back, looking behind him in coverage. But what a conversion there by Florida, especially on that 3rd and long, sitting on the outskirts of field goal range, and now here they are right in the red zone.
Minson now is 75 yards on 5 catches, leading the way for the Storm. Cochran throws over the middle and incomplete. Mississippi got his hands on the ball, couldn't haul it in. Second down.
Yeah, maybe he could have counted to 2 Mississippi. He might have just stayed focused on the ball. One Mississippi couldn't get both hands on it and bring it in, right? Take a deep breath, young man, and keep your eyes on it, pull it in, put your hands on it, pull it to your chest.
Head coach for Minnesota, I think, just placed an order for a jugs machine on Amazon. Do you know they sell those? 4 wide receiver look. Oh, yeah. Second down. Jeff Bezos sells everything. This Minnesota defense has been all over the field, Gerald, getting their hands on just about every Ron Cochran pass he has thrown. Rick Evans batting that one away.
Rick Evans almost looked like he was trying to bat that back inbound for his teammates to get it.
You take it.
I said, guys, we're gonna play the tip drill. See who's gonna come up with it. We got numbers on the back end more than the Storm have.
4 wide receiver set, 3 to the bottom. Cochran on third down, and that one's batted away as well. Rick Evans on back-to-back plays swats it down.
Tell you what, I don't think I've seen a team get more hands on the ball
without taking it away.
Yeah. I mean, the pass defenses by these guys have been ridiculous. I mean, if they grab
Daniel Wright with
half
2,
of those,
Evans with 3.
Yeah, Florida's in trouble.
Yep. Oh yeah. Well, some of these passes is why Ron Cochran is near the top of the league in terms of number of interceptions thrown. He could be leading the league if Minnesota had taken some more of these away. Field goal from 36 yards out is up, and it is through. Florida extends their lead by 3 more, 16-10 here at home at the I. 12th play, 53-yard drive. Gerald started back at about the midway point of the third quarter. Now down to 2 minutes, 13 seconds to go. 3.5-minute drive.
It almost feels like, after the interception that Florida threw and Minnesota was able to put a touchdown, that almost like, I don't know, Florida's not. Something feels a little off, like they're just not playing how they need to play. Maybe playing a little bit to not to lose the lead, that they have, instead of just kind of going for the win, right? You know, I mean, getting a little bit conservative when they shouldn't be, especially here. I mean, shoot, we're only still in the third at this point.
Yeah, playing not to lose is a good way to lose.
Yeah, what they say about the prevent defense, to prevent you from winning.
Prevents the win. Colin Hart with 30 yards on the ground through darn near 3/4 of action. Quiet day. Reno down to the bottom. Gets that pass complete to Jay Taylor. Second down and 2. They had a 4-play, 36-yard drive resulting in their first touchdown of the ball game, getting the points off the turnover. So, when you only have 36 yards to go, it makes it a lot easier to punch it into the end zone. This time starting back at their own 20-yard line. See if they can capitalize on this possession as well. 1 touchdown. That extra point will get them back into this game and give them their first lead. Hart only gets a yard on that carry. 3rd down and 1.
Yeah, and I'm not exactly sure what Colin Hart saw right there at all.
The defender.
I call it the junk, right? He just ran right in the junk instead of just, instead of bouncing it out where he had a little bit more room.
2 backs in the backfield. I'll hand this one off to Komisak. Stuffed right at the line. Komisak couldn't get anything on that one. And
look who it is.
Yeah, look who it is. The man of the hour, Stephen Black. Personal foul and all. And he still has one of the most productive stat lines of anybody on defense in this one so far. 4th down and 1. Ryan Platt on to punt. 3 tackles, 3 assists, 2 pass deflections. An absolute menace. So Optimus Klein brings it up to the 42-yard line. 35 seconds left in the third quarter. And, Minnesota, I hate to say they squandered a good opportunity there, but I think they did. I mean, they had the opportunity to turn this into a lead for their side, and now Florida instead has the opportunity to make this a 2-score ball game once again. See what they can do. Cochran in the gun on first down. 22 of 35 for 183 yards so far. And add on to that total because Ron Haynes, with his first career touchdown catch earlier on in this ball game, gets it up to the 38.
That's about a 20-yard gain right there. Ron Haynes, he just slipped out on. It looks like a 3-yard route, and nobody covered him. It's like they just forgot he was out there. He's only the guy on the, Florida offense that caught the touchdown earlier in the game. No, don't mind him. He's a second tight end, but darn.
Yeah, got to pay attention to him.
Right as I say, hey, I thought Florida may have been looking in trouble. Shoot, they coming out and
they're ready to
making
go.
something happen on defense, and here they are on offense.
Final play of the third quarter. What on earth? Ron Cochran. Another pick six in his hands. Rick Evans lets it fall to the turf. My goodness, Ron. 3 quarters in the books, 11 minutes of reigns here from the I in Florida. 16-10, Florida out in front and in possession of the football. What's Ron doing? We'll find out on the other side. You're watching the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where the Florida Storm are out in front 16-10 over the visiting Minnesota Legend. I'm Mike Daggs. He's Gerald Smith. And that's a touchdown for Florida. Running into the end zone, Stephen Bush for the score.
We'll find out what Riverboat Ron is doing. That's what he's doing, throwing touchdown passes to Stephen Bush. He's like, well, we're going to see if our guy can do it. He went up and he mossed the other guy, Daniel. That Daniel Wright there just missed coming away with a pick. The season 18 All-Star. And now here they are. They're actually, they're up a full 2 scores now. Minnesota has their work cut out for them.
That's what I was getting at the end of the third when I said it. I think Minnesota squandered an opportunity. They had the chance on that drive. If they had been able to get a touchdown on the board, they would have been able to kick that extra point to get a 1-point lead, their first lead of the ball game. But instead, they punted away. And just like that, Florida now with a 2-touchdown lead. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection, state-of-the-art technology, and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. You saw Cochran's stats, 24 of 38, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And it's very similar to the stat line that he had against the Revolution, where he was 24 of 32, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Got the win in that one, and looking good here at home against the Legend.
Yeah, and they're going to have to. The Legend are going to have to pick up the pace.
Yeah, they got to step up.
Yeah, look, and I know it's early in the fourth, man, but they hadn't done anything for 3 quarters, really, so just 1 touchdown and a field goal.
Reno fires over the middle. There you go, Jason France getting catch number 6. And we see the quarterback comparison. Yeah, Reno, about 100 yards shy in yardage. He's got to get going.
What are they feeding France in Minnesota?
Oh,
it's
steak.
It's the second time
I think it's
saw
moose.
him just moose.
Oh, he's just eating moose meat. Yeah, that's.
Is that edible?
Well, I don't know. Ask France. He's the one eating it.
Are you sure he's eating it? He's just bowling people
Protein.
over after he catches the ball.
It's all about that protein. I'm not sure if they eat moose. Is that even legal? Can you eat a moose? Reno has time and ends up checking it down short. Gets it back out to Jason Francis. Update from Carolina. Cameron Irvine, what's going on over there?
Thanks, Mike. Ike McBride having herself a day. Carolina, fun team to watch the first half of the season. She has 3 touchdowns in this one, and Carolina has taken their lead up to 11, 28-17 over Houston. Back to you at the eye.
Thank you, Cam. Reno gets that one down to the bottom. Buchanan Simons getting another catch. First down at the 48, just over the head of the Florida defender.
And that was very good concentration by Buchanan Simons there to be able to grab the ball. He had to stretch and reach for while also trying to keep his feet in bounds. And now they're in Florida territory. And you know what? I think we just nicknamed France. He's a moose.
Moose?
He's a moose.
Step aside, Moose Papineau. We have a new moose in the league. Jason France. The moose.
Yeah,
Colin Hart, 34 yards. Just not a lot of production.
No, look, and 2.8 yards a carry. Look,
yeah,
it's like they get something good going in the run game, and then they get something good going in the passing game, and then all of a sudden it just seems like something happens, and then they just get stuck in the mud, so to speak, right? Where they just can't move anymore.
2 to the right, 1 to the left. Reno over the middle, back to the Moose. We'll just call him the Moose for the rest of the game, see if it sticks.
Yeah.
Jason France, catch number 8. 3rd down in inches.
See, and when you throw it, I mean, look, and he's, I mean, today, as he's their highest pass catcher with 8 receptions on the day. I mean, he's been pretty sure-handed as well.
The ball spotted past the line of scrimmage. How's that not a first down? I think that's what Reno's saying. He's like, does everybody see where this ball is? No? Okay, well, let's hand this one off here. Reno gives that one to Comisac. Comisac just bowling through the middle.
Man, Comisac had quite the lane to run through. They opened up nice and big and had a lead blocker. Wow. And that's what they needed, right? They needed a drive like this, and they're not taking up too much time right now. They're approaching about two and a half minutes of game time taken up on this drive right here, and here they are, within field goal range. But I think they need a touchdown right here on this drive.
First down and 10 from the 29. Tipped in. Oh, nearly taken away. Oh, it looked like they were playing that European style of football right there, just booting it around with their feet. Aaron Gooden had a chance at it.
And they had all the linebackers in there. Stephen Black was there. And there you had Ryan Tobin right there, too. And then, you had a guy right there trying to catch it with his knees. See who that was, trying to catch it with his knees right there.
Oh, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, Aaron Gooden trying to catch it with his knees.
Yeah, Tobin batted it over to him, and then Gooden's just out there kneeing it and kicking it.
260 pounds? 260-pound linebacker? Well, I can't say that. I think I got a 265 or 70-pound linebacker.
Yeah, what are you body shaming over here? What are you doing?
No, man, that's what we eat in the South. That's a big linebacker, though, man.
Reno on 2nd down, fires down the right sideline and nearly picked off. Brian Davidson jumping in front of it. Pass was intended for Buchanan Simons and just a little bit short.
Well, Ryan Davidson usually doesn't miss those, especially if it's coming from a Louisiana quarterback. He picks everything off we throw in his direction. So, I mean,
someone's still salty.
Yes. But, here it is. Hey, they're forcing, a 3rd and long here and forcing Minnesota to convert here.
4 of 11 on 3rd down. Going deep over the middle. They convert this one. 1st down and 10 from the 10. Jay Taylor gets the catch, takes the hit, holds on.
Yeah, Jay Taylor been able to get his hands and take a hit. Take a huge hit. He got hit from the front and then got hit right there in the kidneys in the back, and he held on to it.
Evan Carroll lowering his shoulder straight into his stomach.
Oh, yeah, he was trying to draw that ball loose.
9 plays, 68 yards so far on the drive. Which started at the top of the quarter. That went out to Bachagalupi. Gets the catch, gains 3, steps out of bounds. 2nd down.
Yeah, I think the way they're moving the ball right here, right, I think it's going to be the Moose and Bachagalupi show right here. At least that's what I would anticipate, especially the way, the Moose has been catching the ball all game long. He's been pretty sure-handed whenever you throw on the ball.
Reno with 1 yard shy of 200. Ball is handed off and surging towards the end zone, but can't quite get there is Chris Komisak, the fullback. 3rd down and 1 from the 1.
Is it really a 1? This thing's on like the half-yard line, but they're on the 1, and they got 1 to go.
Yeah, and it looks like they actually could get a 1st down. Wait, the ball spotted past the line of scrimmage again. Yeah. Questionable roughing. And into the end zone for the touchdown. Chris Komisak falling across the goal line and in for 6. Back to a 1-score game.
Yeah, and Komisak was a huge part of this drive as well, right? He had a huge run up the middle, and he just had a play before this one, had to run up the middle to get him down to the 1 yard line. And why not give it to him again, having, 2 pretty successful runs right before this one here and put it in. And now here they are. They're about to reduce this lead down to 6.
Mickey Melillo on for the extra point, and the uniquely named Thousand Lakes. That's the backup quarterback for Minnesota. Mr. and Mrs. Lakes naming their baby boy Thousand. Interesting name choice.
Is that similar to, are there any relation to the Thousand Island?
No,
like
in Minnesota,
like
Thousand Islands are here in New York.
Is there something called Thousand Lakes?
I don't know.
Is that a lake? Thousand Lakes?
Yeah, there is something called Thousand Lakes. It's number 10 for Minnesota.
That's not a thing. It's a person.
Oh, true. He's also a backup quarterback. That's a thing.
He ain't no Whisker LaFouche or Larry Love. But.
That's true. That is true. Backup quarterback extraordinaires. Optimus Klein brings this one up to the 24-yard line. Florida with a 6-point lead. They've got possession of the football. 6:42 to go in the ball game. See what they can do on this drive. They had 3 plays, 38 yards last time around. So, word is that Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes, and he's number 10. Maybe it's a nickname then. Cochran dumps this one down to Boletsky, and he'll gain a yard. Also received word from fellow broadcaster Brett Solberg. Just some clarification on the Moose thing. I don't know if it's clarification or just a complaint. Mr. Solberg's mother was, in fact, enraged by the fact that you don't know that moose meat is edible, and it's actually quite good. But he's Canadian, so he would know these things.
Yeah, maybe they don't have regular animals up there. They just have a lot of moose.
Boletsky with a nice run up the middle. He'll get the 1st down. Tackled at the 36-yard line. Keeps the drive alive. Keeps the clock moving.
Yeah, that's one of the better runs by Boletsky in this game. He runs right up the middle for 11. Had really good block. And there's J.W. Doyle leading the charge right there.
Yeah.
Taking on one of the safeties. And helping his teammate get 11.
O-line opened up that hole, and Doyle kept it going. Cochran, he'll take his time, letting that clock tick away. It's on to the Minnesota defense's shoulders right now to try to get that ball back and let their offense do what it does best. Cochran, you don't want to lose, though. Wow, what was that?
Oh, Stephen Bush. He just doesn't. That's the second pass he's dropped this game that seemed like it was pretty easy to grab. It hit him. It was
almost looked like he got brought down by a horse collar, though. But it's no flags, so maybe not. But he just went down awkwardly.
Call it a moose collar.
Moose collar, yeah.
About moose
and elk. There's a lot of elk in Minnesota too. What the difference between a moose and an elk is, I don't know. Probably something with the antlers. Cochran over the middle. That one's complete to Minson. He'll gain 7 on the play. His 6th catch, 84 yards now for E.J. Minson. 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, look, and it opens up them, right? Their playbook can be tremendously, available to them, right? Overly available. It's just hope they pluck the right one out of there for Florida to be able to pick up these 3 yards.
Derek Meerkat watching from the defense. Cochran throws for the first down and throws the ball and recovered by Minnesota. And it definitely was a football move. Wow, look at Max Knight pumping the crowd. That's a big pump. Yeah. Klein caught the ball, spun, and then it was knocked loose.
I was seeing Kamasak on the sideline. He looked pretty amped up, just clapping the hands. So they got that big, huge turnover.
Max Knight fell on it. 2-minute break, then we'll see what Minnesota can do. You're watching the Simulation Football League on Next Level Sports. Welcome back to Fort Lauderdale. I'm Mike Dykes. He's Gerald Smith. Ron Haynes, Aaron Gooden with us on stats. Cameron Irvine back at SFL Studios producing. Florida with quite the yardage advantage over Minnesota. But the Legend looking to change that. Quick pass over the middle gets them into Florida territory. And a great opportunity here, Gerald, after they, we said it was on the defense's shoulders, and they were able to force a fumble. And here we go.
Yeah, and Reno throws it right before he actually gets into coverage. And Jay Taylor was able to grab it.
The Moose with 70 yards on 8 receptions. I hope that nickname sticks.
Oh.
Just like that big tackle is going to stick him for a loss of 3. Second down and 13. Alessandro Tomaello has had a quiet night, but gets the tackle for a loss there.
Yeah, the 7-year vet. This is the first time we call his name tonight, and and they got to come up with big plays right here, right? Him with a huge tackle for loss, and now it's 2nd and 13.
Four wide receiver set on second down. Reno to throw, gets it out to Hart. Can Hart break past the defender? He cannot. Back-to-back tackles for a loss. Third down and 16.
Deontay Stoneville, he was out there almost as if he was a linebacker covering the running back out there.
Yeah, I was looking through the list of linebackers. I thought that's what it was. He was moving so fast. But on third down and 16, they're unable to convert. Throwing it down the middle of the field and well defended. And they'll have to punt this one away.
I think, God, that was a tough throw to try and make right there by Johnny Reno, throwing it where it was thrown. He either overthrew the receiver that was up underneath or just underthrew the receiver that was a little bit deeper. But either way, here they are with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left after a huge fumble that they had just gotten, and they just went backwards. They went backwards 6 yards, and now here are punting.
Punt his way will fall down at the 10. Klein backing up and letting it go, and it will be down at the 5. So great job by Minnesota special teams there. I mean, if anything's going to be a positive takeaway from that opportunity, but they've had a couple of them now. They've had a couple of drives that were good opportunities, and they have not been able to do anything with them. Now it'll be up to the Storm to run the rest of this clock out with 3.5 to go in the ball game. Charlie Boletsky with 82 yards on 15 carries. We'll probably see a lot more of him here. Starting with that handoff. Oh,
wow.
But that's dangerous. Now he's lost some of those yards as he's tackled back at the 1. And Buster Johnson doing a little dance over his tackle.
Dude, Buster Johnson just fought through his offensive lineman that was trying to block him, pushed him far enough back, called Boletsky to kind of stay in the back for a little bit longer, and was able to tackle him back there.
Now at risk of a safety, Cochran standing on the goal line, hands this one off, just getting out past the goal line, but I think he'll still even lose a little bit. They spot it just a little shy of where it was. I don't know, they're marking it at the 2. I guess the line of scrimmage really didn't even move. It's a lot closer to the 1 than the 2. Third down and 13.
But man, Angela Meerkat, another one, man, being able to stand up the offensive lineman, keep your eye on the ball carrier, and then attack him as he's coming near you.
I guess it is closer to the 2 than the 1 at this point. Cochran letting some time tick off the clock as we approach the 2-minute warning. Hands this one off to Boletsky in the end zone. Can they get the tackle? Yes, they can. He'll gain about 7 on the play, but tackled at the 8-yard line. They're going to get the ball back after the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, and they're going to get it back with good field position because I don't think Agrippa's going to be able to have a whole lot of time back there to get his full boot into it.
2 minutes to go in this one. We'll see what Minnesota can do. Another opportunity for their offense. Can they capitalize off of it is the question. Stay with us. We'll find out on the other side.
Presentation of the Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
And welcome back to the I in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Marcus Agrippa, standing about 8 yards deep in his own end zone, punts this one away. That ball is going to come down right about, not even midfield, Gerald. We both lost on that bet. They're going to start at their own 42-yard line. Field goal really does nothing for them. Minute 53, all three timeouts. They can take their time, run their normal offense, and we'll see what they can do with this one. Three wide receiver set on first down. Pass down to Colin Hart. Gets good yardage and out of bounds at the 31. We've got one final game break from Carolina. Cameron Irvine back at SFL Studios.
Thanks, Mike. Reverse the curse. Just went final. Danny Stinson, linebacker, pick six, walk it off. Carolina improves to 4-2 at the midway point. Houston, a playoff team last season, a stunning 1-5. Back to you guys for the finish in Florida.
Thank you, Cam. Johnny Reno down the left sideline, picked off. Minnesota once again squanders an opportunity. Evan Carroll getting the interception.
Well, I guess, they tried to go to Jay Taylor on a corner route, and it was kind of underthrown. Evan Carroll came across, 13-year veteran, two-time All-Star, coming up with a big player first team. But Minnesota still has all their timeouts, and they got Florida kind of pinned inside their own 15 right now.
Zaleski takes a handoff, and he's able to gain 6. Now Minnesota's going to be burning those timeouts. They'll take their first one there, 2 remaining. Stick around after the game. We'll send it back to SFL Studios where Cameron Irvine will give his thoughts on the Minnesota-Florida result and preview next week's next level SFL showcase game, Portland versus Atlanta. It's all coming up on the APM Music post-game update. But first, let's see what Florida can do with this one. Can the Minnesota defense get the ball back? Beletsky stuffed at the line. They'll spot him with a 1-yard gain. Minnesota burns their second timeout. 3rd down and 3.
All right, so if you're Florida here, do you risk it and put the ball in the air on this 3rd and short, or do you just play your odds here and hope that either Doyle or Beletsky can get you the yards you need? I'm anticipating a weak side run right here.
I'd throw it, but that's me. You get the first down, you win. Hart takes the handoff, and he's going to be tackled for a loss. 2-yard loss on the play. Minnesota burns their final timeout. 4th down and 5. They're going to get the ball back with about a minute 25 or so.
Dude, the pursuit by B.J. Loveless and the safety on that side, Daniel Wright, being able to notice right pre-snap that they were running to the weak side right there and be able to put themselves in a situation to get a tackle for a loss on a 3rd and 3, and now they're going to get the ball back in pretty good field position to probably be right around the 50-yard line.
Agrippa at the 1, punts this one away, and this one will go past midfield. Goes back to the Minnesota 42, returned by Banks up to the 45. Ramel Hernandez was injured on the play. The backup safety for Florida, primarily a special teamer. Not sure with minute 23. We'll get an update on Mr. Hernandez, but we'll keep an eye out for it. So, I've said this a few times, Gerald, but a great opportunity here for the Minnesota defense. Not only a great opportunity, probably their final opportunity. They either score on this drive or they go home with a loss. Reno goes deep down the right sideline, and that one nearly ended it right there. Was trying to go back to the Moose, Jason France. 2nd down.
Yeah, and it looked like, guess who it was? The Louisiana Nemesis and Ryan Davidson back there getting his hands on the ball. but it looked like he actually knocked it out of France's hands there, right? The Moose couldn't get his antlers on that one and be able to pull it down.
He doesn't even have hands. He's got antlers.
Ryan Davidson was able to knock it out.
Second down and 10, minute 20 to go. 3 wide receivers out to the left, 1 to the right. Reno, 40 pass attempts. Here comes throw number 41. Gets this one to Hart. Hart spins. Gains 5. Will go into the hurry up. 3rd down and 5. Obviously 4-down territory the whole rest of the way, so they don't need to get it here. Keep it going. Reno steps up, but that is punishing.
Couldn't take a sack. That's one thing they couldn't do in that situation was take a sack.
Yeah.
And he just ran right up into it almost, man. You know, like it's Alex Dominguez just right up the middle, right? The all-time sack leader in the league, and you know, that's the guy who shows up in big times.
Had a quiet day, but big play there. This could be the ball game. 4th down and 11. Reno for the first down. He gets it, and he's off to the races. Tackled down at the 14-yard line and stepped out of bounds. Buchanan Simons stepping up big when it matters most.
Wow, that was just, look, and here we are talking about Ryan Davison, the Louisiana killer. He tried to jump up and try and knock that ball out of the air, but he didn't have enough height on it, but Buchanan Simons right behind him to grab it and get him inside the 15.
First down and 10 from the 14-yard line. Four wide receiver set. Reno in the gun, fires towards the back of the end zone, nearly picked off. Davidson once again gets his hands on the ball, but it falls down to the turf. 2nd down.
And that was a huge opportunity for Florida to put it into this game. And they tried to go back to Buchanan Simons. And I'm not exactly sure where Reno was throwing the ball because Simons was further out toward the sideline on the side of the end zone right there. And he threw it more inline. I think they had a little bit of a miscommunication on what route was to be run on that play.
3 to the left, 1 to the right. Reno in the gun. Reno looks, fires, end zone, and it is picked off. Florida's going to come away with the win as Evan Carroll gets another interception. And that one will seal it for the Storm.
Yeah, Evan Carroll's 2nd interception on as many recent drives from Minnesota. He killed that last drive for Minnesota right there. And here they are. He kind of just sealed the game for him and his team.
So Minnesota averaging 31 points per game, Gerald. They're only able to get 17 in this one. Florida, after they had their worst start ever in franchise history, starting off the season 0-4. They finally get a win in week 5. They've got a bye week in week 6. Here we are, week 7. They get their 2nd consecutive win and starting to look like the Florida Storm of old.
Yeah, it only takes that coaching staff in Florida, right, to get something under their belt and notice what they were doing. They were able to get that win in week 5 and continue, those winning ways and, nearly the mistake-free football that they were needing.
That wraps up today's game. Gerald, your final thoughts on this one? Florida wins at 23-17.
It was the Florida defense that kind of came through this game for them, right? Early on, being able to, shut down the Minnesota offense for a whole half, right? If not almost 2.5 quarters going in here, right? To build themselves up a nice lead and everything else. And then whenever Minnesota started charging back, the Florida offense was able to put up the points they needed. Right, and then here we are, right? Minnesota was able to pin Florida back deep, but they came through and they needed to, and then Florida ended up, getting the 2 interceptions right at the end to kind of seal it by Evan Carroll there. So, I mean, Florida getting back to winning ways. They won 2 in a row, and they're actually, creeping themselves up in the standings in the East Division. They're not out of it yet. Still trail Atlanta, who is undefeated. Louisiana was 3-2, and they got a matchup Monday. And Jacksonville's sitting at 2-3 as well. And here they are sitting at 2-4, so they're not out of it yet.
Johnny Reno with only 3 interceptions through 5 games, threw 3 interceptions here today against this number 1 Florida passing defense. I asked earlier on in the game, Gerald, are they really number 1 in passing defense? Yeah, you know what? I think they are. Minnesota improves Minnesota falls to 4-2 on the season. Florida will improve to 2-4. Next up for Minnesota, they will take on the Seattle Nemesis in Seattle on Friday, March 3rd. For Florida, also Friday, March 3rd, they will be here at home once again hosting Vancouver from the absolute other side of the continent. Coming up later tonight, Seattle at Sioux Falls. Ramos Lynn and Mark Lopez on the call, along with Atlanta at Los Angeles with Chris Curtis and Anthony Ellison. Those games both on SFL YouTube starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in about 26 minutes. 9 p.m. and 9:15 p.m. More SFL action tomorrow, starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Fort Worth at Baltimore with Damon Simeon and Eddie Gage. At 6:45, Tulsa at Jacksonville with Chad Rowland and Jacob Clear on his first SFL call. At 9 p.m., Indianapolis at Portland with Michael Trillo and Mickey Malillo. And 9:15, San Diego at Denver with Josh Zirkle and Jack Brown. Your player of the game, Ron Cochran, Riverboat Ron, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, 26 of 41. Florida with the win. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on Next Level Sports. Final score, Florida with the win, 23-17 for Gerald Smith, Ron Haynes, Aaron Gooden, Cameron Irvine, and Matt Wilson, who will always be with me in spirit. I'm Mike Dagg saying thank you for joining us. Be kind to one another and stick around after the break. Send it back to SFL Studios where Cameron Irvine will give us the final thoughts on the game. Stay with us.
Welcome to Sim Football Postgame. I'm Cameron Irvine here back at SFL Studios as the Florida Storm defeat the Minnesota Legend in an upset, 23-17. Florida 0-4, backs against the wall. All the pundits and podcasters in the SFL says Florida is done. Well, Florida is far from over as they now have won 2 straight games. Minnesota 4-2, and in both their losses to Florida and Vancouver, their offense has struggled to score 13 points in that loss to Vancouver and struggled a little bit here today in this game as well. They fall to 4-2. What does that mean for the Central Division? Well, you got Sioux Falls at 2-3. That's where Indianapolis is as well. Tulsa also plays tomorrow at 3-2. So it's a little unclear what the Central's going to look like at the midway point of the season. Minnesota will still be ahead, but the gap just like it did last season when we had a three-way tie going into the final week of the season. The gap is shrinking there in the Central with Indy playing better football as well. It's a four-horse race. Florida not too worried about chasing the division right now. They have bigger problems just trying to get back into the playoff picture, but they're off to a good start, winning now their second consecutive game. Next week on Next Level Sports, Atlanta takes on Portland. Same time, same place, right here, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Next Level Sports. Atlanta is unbeaten, one of two unbeatens in the league this season. Portland is 3-2. They are the sixth best divisional record right now, but they would be somewhere on the back half of the bracket at the moment, clinging to a playoff spot, as Vancouver is also 3-2 with them in division. More SFL action going on tonight on SFL YouTube. You can join us over there. Please subscribe to the channel, and you can catch our weekly recap show this week in the SFL tomorrow afternoon. Check your TV guides and your channel guides on NLSE.com for more details and information as myself and Paul Sarp wrap up the previous week of SFL football in case you missed any of the action and want to see what's going on around the SFL and see the real-life players getting interviewed in postgame by our own beloved Ashley Jackson. So that's more content for you to check out. Final score, it's Florida beating Minnesota with some clutch defensive stops at the end, 23-17. For all of us at the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music, I am Cameron Irvine, and we will see you all next weekend.